Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. So far this year in Texas, 11 children have died as the result of being left in an auto. June is National Safety Month, and with temperatures now in the 90s and humidity high, Sulphur Springs Police Chief Jay Sanders reminds local residents to not leave a child in an auto. Sanders states that Texas law does allow a child under 7 years of age to be left in an auto for 5 minutes if another individual 14 years of age or older is present. However, he says even that is taking a chance.
Of course, the ones that we've seen, here locally, not in Sulphur Springs, but, in the Dallas, remember Lindell had one I think it was last year, where the dad wasn't used to picking the child up at daycare. It just it happened that day that he was supposed to take him or supposed to pick him up, and never does that. So when you do something out of the ordinary like that, you're going to have to do something to remind yourself, tie a string around the child's back there, because if you're out of your normal routine, you don't think about that stuff. And that's exactly what happened to that in that case. So
focusing on the fact the child is in the car is important.
Just a little bit. But yeah, you're going to have to do something if it's not your normal routine to pick the kids up or to do something like that. And most of the time that's what we see. Most of the children are left in cars over a time span that causes damage or death is because it was not their normal routine. Right. So they just flat out forgot.
Running a risk of, I'll just be a few minutes, that's sometimes too big a risk, is it not? Leaving the child and going into a place, I'm just going to be a few minutes.
Too big a risk, even though Texas law allows you, if the child's over 7, and things like that, it actually says you can leave a child that's younger than 7 if you have a 14-year-old in there, 14-year-old or older. You can leave them in there for 5 minutes. Well, guys, that's too long. That's too long. Even though the law allows that little time period for you to run in somewhere, well, what usually happens? You get in there and you get held up. Right. That's you got to plan for the worst. So I would never do that. I mean, and of course, one of the drawbacks or one of the excuses that we'll hear is, well, I had to get 2 kids out of a child safety seat. I had to get them all in buck, get all this stuff out, and get the thing, and get this and that. It's just easier just to leave them in there, run in, and take care of it. Then you get held up, and then where were we? Then where are we? We're on the news. So.
Obviously, we don't want this to happen, but are there some medical techniques that can be employed if a child is in a car too long?
The first thing is, we have to get to the child. That's the very first thing, and then of course assess where we're at, where the child is physically, what type of the things that occur. Of course, the most important thing is the time. How much time has the child been in that hot car? That's the main thing that the medics and the ER docs and all those folks, they're going to want to know how much time. Of course, the level of consciousness of the child will tell you a lot, but the main thing is, of course, get them cooled off, and that's what they'll start, get fluids going and things like that. So, but just getting them cool.
Suffocation or dehydration, the bigger risk?
Well, they kind of work hand in hand, but the dehydration is what brings on the other one. So, of course, the heat, when you heat up the brain starts to shut itself down and only works. The brain, when it starts to see something or sense something's wrong, it will shut certain areas of the body down and only keep the ones that are needed going. So you'll be able to see that progression.
What are the penalties for leaving a child in a car?
If you leave a child in the car, like we talked about, over the 5-minute period, that's just a Class C misdemeanor, as long as the child is not endangered. Okay, but in Texas, after April, if you did that, it's just too hot. Period. I mean, we go from April or May all the way through October, and it's hot. And any of those endangering, once you get past leaving the child in the car and you get to the point where it's endangering the child's life or could cause bodily injury or any type of physical impairment, all of those are felonies. It just depends on what degree we're going to, how bad the child was injured, things like that is what. It goes all the way from state jail to second-degree felony. So.
And we do enforce that pretty heavily.
Anytime. Yes. I mean, we don't have that occur here very much. We get very few calls on that. But when we see it, or when we get a call on it, definitely going to take care of that.
Now that the Texas legislature has passed a law disallowing texting and driving, local law enforcement awaits the full instruction of the law. Silver Springs Police Chief Jay Sanders says he expects complete training instructions to be received in August. However, he is pleased with the bill being made law.
I see it's a great law. I love it to death. And of course, when you talk about people that are texting and driving, the way they drive is very similar to a DWI. Very similar, because DWI can't pay attention to what's going on because of the alcohol. Somebody who's texting and driving doesn't pay attention because they're looking down and they're trying to form words and all this other stuff with their finger. And I've actually seen some people drive down the road with a knee and two fingers working that phone, so you know. So I can't do that. I have to. Kind of like the same way I type. It's.
But after September 1st, you won't be doing that, right?
September 1st, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of stipulations on it. It's just that if we observe someone texting while they're operating a motor vehicle, then that'll be a violation, and they'll be cited for that.
Some people think that this law may be just simply to give officers an excuse to stop someone. Do you see it as that?
No. Again, I equate texting and driving to a DWI. And because you see similar driving habits or driving characteristics from a DWI to text. And we've actually stopped people that we thought were going to be a DWI suspect, and it just turns out they were texting just because of the way they were driving.
Obviously, this is going to have a bigger effect on people who are involved in accidents who are texting and driving.
Well, we've already got that in the accidents. That's one of our codes that we can put in there. Of course, a lot of people, they're not going to admit that they were using their phone while they were driving and got involved in an accident. But it's real easy. You just
Look at the phone.
Look at the phone and it'll show you what they were doing. So I like the law. It's going to be a little bit difficult to enforce because you're really just going to have to see exactly. I mean, you're going to have to really be focused in on it, and because you know some people get that phone down and so they can do it one-handed. Some people can operate this phone like this, just like that. I can't do that, but I pull over.
Or they see the patrol car and they just set it down.
Right.
And say,
yeah, they get it down. So, but here's the thing though, with people that are texting, they're actually in the process of texting. They'll never see us.
True. Is this going to affect those who voice text? Has there been any?
That's one of the things is the Bluetooth. I think it's going to have to. I think one of the stipulations is it's going to have to actually be this, because you know you can still Bluetooth and talk on the phone and text and all that other stuff.
So we're talking about basically a hands-free driving kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna we're ever gonna have to. Of course, it's nearly impossible to enforce the hands-free. I mean, even if it was a law, I don't know how would you know they're doing hands-free? So.
Yeah, they might be talking to themselves.
Yeah, I do that often.
How soon will you have the understanding of this bill? How soon will they send you something on this?
We should get it probably August.
Okay.
We should start. I haven't talked to the training centers yet. It's still way early. They haven't even thought about new law, legal updates, but we'll all go through legal updates.
Early Saturday morning, May 14th, 2017, Sulphur Springs Detective David Gilmore began an investigation of an armed robbery at the Econo Lodge in Sulphur Springs. His investigation has enlarged to include police departments in the Metroplex and the possibility of the FBI being involved.
We got called out, or I actually got called out after the patrol division did on May 14th, early morning hours of May 14th. Two masked gunmen walked into the Econo Lodge and held up the clerk, got away with money and some personal belongings belonging to her. Since then, we have followed up a few leads that ended up being a dead end, you might say. But I've got with some detectives around the Metroplex. I met with them back on the 26th of May, and since December of last year, there's been several armed robberies in and around the Metroplex, including Denton, Carrollton, Plano, 4 or 5 other municipalities up around the Metroplex. Same MO as the one in Sulphur Springs. We have developed some leads. In fact, at the end of this week, we don't know what date yet, we're going to be meeting again. We've also met with a federal prosecutor and some FBI agents and talking about going federal with this. But all that is really in the works right now. I think there's a very good likelihood that they are involved in our robbery here. Greenville also had one about 3 or 4 nights before we did, and there was some subjects apprehended by Carrollton PD after our robbery that we're hoping all that will tie in, but it's in the working stages right now.
Gilmore stated he expects more information to be available next week.
It is Hopkins County Dairy Festival Contestants Week. On the morning show, we interviewed Gracie, Peyton, and Imani.
Hi, I'm Gracie Boyer, and I'm contestant number 3.
Okay. Who are your parents?
My parents are Rudy Boyer and Christy Boyer.
Okay. Did you have an exciting weekend, first weekend of Dairy Festival?
It was really fun. I enjoyed all of the events this weekend and just getting to be a part of the community.
Wonderful. All right, tell us who you are.
My name is Imani Taylor. I am contestant number 2, and my parents are Freddie and Rita Taylor.
Okay, what about your weekend?
It was a blast. I love getting to be a part of everything that we did this week, like milking the cows and the hot air balloons. It was just all such a good experience.
Wonderful. And who are you?
I am Peyton Dietz, contestant number 4.
Okay.
And my parents are Jason and Jill Dietz.
Okay. Any crazy, wonderful, or wild things that happened to you this weekend?
I got first place in the milking contest, which was a big surprise to me. So that was a lot of fun. And the hot air balloons, that's always been on my bucket list. So getting to check that off, going up in one, it was so much fun.
And about that milking, do you have previous experience, or did you just have a very responsive cow?
I had gone to Chris Coons once to practice, but that was it. So I guess just luck.
Okay. Well, let's talk about our preparations now for the coming big weekend of the pageant. So I want to know things like your talent, what you're planning to do, what you maybe thought about doing and changed to, and we'll talk about what you're going to wear and everything associated. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I think y'all already know that, and you're just about to embark. Gracie, tell us about your talent.
I'm going to be singing Temporary Home by Carrie Underwood.
Okay.
And I plan on wearing a pretty ball gown dress. It's going to be blue and sparkly, so it will really stand out, and just plan on singing. I don't really have any props or anything.
Okay. Why did you choose this song?
I don't know. It's just, I wanted to choose a song that was really deep and had a good message to it that everybody would know and be able to sing along to if they wanted to. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Good choice. Imani, tell us about your talent.
I am going to be singing a selection from Miley Cyrus's The Climb at the beginning, and then later on I'm going to surprise the crowd with a jazz funk dance to Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake.
Okay, so you just cannot keep from dancing or
No,
singing.
ma'am, or tumbling.
Well, what about your gown selection?
My dress that I'm going to be wearing is a red dress. It's made up of flowers and diamonds, and at the bottom it looks like little petals falling at the bottom. I just think it's beautiful, and I hope it looks good under the lights on Saturday night.
Wonderful. Okay, Peyton, what about you?
I am doing the evolution of cheer, so I will be doing a cheer and dance from the 50s, 80s, and now. And then my formal wear dress, it's hot pink. It's really simple, and then it has like this little beaded belt around the middle to add some bling to it.
Okay. Lots and lots of pictures.
Yes.
This is a really special milestone time in your lives. What is it that you three girls have in common as far as school goes?
We're all cheerleaders.
Yeah, I said cheerleading.
All cheerleaders. Okay, so a long career of cheerleading. Okay. And Gracie, now you do other things. What are some of the other, I'd say, sports or activity related things you do?
One big thing that I've always been involved in since I was 4 is soccer. I've been a part of varsity soccer for 4 years, starting senior year, it will be 4 years. I'm also a varsity cross-country runner, which is fun sometimes. I did cheer freshman year, and then I quit, but I'm doing it again for senior year, which I'm really excited to be doing.
Wonderful.
And then I was also involved in varsity track this year. That's about it.
What's this about your refereeing?
About 2 years ago, I took a class to be a certified ref, and I went to like this little school. It was like 8 hours long, and they trained us. And so I ref for City League here in town every fall and spring.
Okay. And what about lifeguarding?
This is a new thing. I started lifeguarding this summer, and I have a summer job at the country club here. And I go out and work like 5-hour shifts every day and just watch the kids swim and keep them safe.
Okay, wonderful. And thank you for, that's kind of a service that you offer so parents can rest easy. Mm-hmm. And Monty, tell us about your cheer and the other things that you like to do that are very physical.
Well, the main sport that I love the most is track and field, and I'm also involved in varsity volleyball. I used to do varsity basketball and varsity cheerleading too.
Okay. You like tumbling, gymnastics?
I do.
A long history of that?
Yes, ma'am. Ever since I was little, like Gracie, I just always been a part of competitive cheer, and me and my sisters were all involved in that, and we just love it, and we still love it to this day. And I mean, I don't do it anymore, but it's just still fun tumbling and amazing the crowd when I do my flips. Just love it.
Do you sing in church?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What are some of the other things you do? You really have kind of a long bio here.
I'm in National Honor Society. I am in Key Club. I'm in Dare to Dream, and just other little programs that we have.
School and church related.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Peyton, tell us a bit about you.
I've been the class president for class of 2018 at Silver Springs High School for the past 3 years. This coming up year, I will be National Honor Society president. I'll be National Technical Honor Society secretary. I'll be the Key Club president. I'm involved in student council. I'm really active in the First United Methodist Church youth group. What else?
Rotary?
Oh, I was a Rotary Youth Leadership Award camper, where there's like 5 of us from Silver Springs and Ganis. They got chosen by the Rotary Club to go to this leadership camp and learn about leadership.
Okay. All of you are busy young ladies, but you have future plans. Tell us, starting Peyton, we'll go back the other way. What do you want to do in the future?
After I graduate, I plan on going to Baylor University to pursue a career in accounting. I've always been really math-minded, and so that was kind of my interest, is going into something with math and stuff.
Imani, where are you headed?
After high school, I plan on attending college at either Texas Tech or UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, because I hear they have a great nursing program, and I want to go to college for nursing in the nursing field.
Okay, wonderful. And Gracie?
After high school, I plan to pursue a degree in nursing, and I'm looking at either Stephen F. Austin University or UT Tyler.
Okay. Good ideas that all of you have. Once in a while, a girl will say, I haven't decided yet. But there are just so many fields open. And possibly you've been thinking about what you want to be since you were much younger. Well, wrapped up in all of this, and your competitions are family. So, Gracie, tell us a bit about your family. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one brother. His name is Gillen Boyer. He will be 20 in October, and he goes to school at Dallas Baptist University. That's my only sibling. And then I don't know what else.
We kind of know your sisters, Imani, but tell us about them.
I have a big family. There's 7 of us all together. My older sister is Erica, and then my brother Ethan. He's the only one, bless him. And Maya is the next oldest, and Iana.
She was in Dairy Festival.
She was. Mine and Iana were both in the Dairy Festival. And then there's me at the end.
Okay. And you are on the end of this big family that your parents have been raising, and boy, has it been fun. I also had 4 girls and a boy. It sure is a lot of fun. Peyton, tell us about you and your family.
I have an older sister, Sydney.
Yes.
She was also in Dairy Festival.
Yes.
And then I have a younger brother, Luke, who's 13. And he's something special.
Are they helping you out in any kind of way during Dairy Festival?
Sydney has been a lot since she's been through it and stuff, so she's given me pointers and been really supportive. And yeah.
Well, tell me, who else is very important as far as your bid for Ms. Hopkins County Dairy Festival Queen?
All my family's been super supportive. My mom especially, she's been there every step of the way, helping me, getting me prepared, helping me pick out all my clothes, and she's been great. Oh, and my sponsors also have been fantastic. I have Dallas Study Club and Jayhawk Chevrolet.
Okay.
Yes, again, my parents, they've just been a big support, not only in just Dairy Festival, but everything that I do. And the community, they've just been showing love and support. And my sponsors, the Bookworm Box and Grocery Supply.
Okay, we could not do without our sponsors. What about you, Gracie?
I'd say my dad has been really, really supportive. He's helped me a lot on the parade float. And my mom has helped me get all my dresses together and figure out what I'm going to wear. And also my brother has helped me with my talent portion, because he's a singer and he knows music really well. So he helps me with my vocals and make sure I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay.
And also my sponsors, Dairy Max and Jordan's Place Pediatrics.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it really is a community effort, bringing our whole town and county together during Dairy Festival. 58 years now since the very first one. And I'm so happy to say that it seems to be growing, maintaining its place in Hopkins County and in the hearts of people. So you'll always be remembered for your run as Dairy Festival Queen. And not everybody can be crowned, of course.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Wildcat Athletic Booster Club is hoping to attract new members with their annual membership drive currently underway. I talked with Booster Club officer Stacy Cody and with Booster Club president David McKeag. I start with David McKeag.
You know, it seems like football's still a ways away, but for us, it's just right around the corner. It'll be here in a moment's notice, and so now's the time when we start generating our funds to help pay for the athletic programs throughout the year.
Now, it doesn't take a whole lot, or really, if you've got the means, you can do quite a bit. There are several categories.
That's true. We start at $10 for membership, and we have donors that pay hundreds of dollars and maybe even thousands. So it just depends where you are. So we'll take any amount, whether it's 10 or 1,000. We're always looking for funds to help the kids.
At a certain level, you are able to. You're still going to do reserve parking with everything kind of under construction.
Yes, sir. As far as we know, that we're still going to have parking places that we will give out with anybody that donates $200 and above. We'll give parking places for those donations.
All right, let's get Stacy Cody involved here. Stacy, why are you a member of the Booster Club?
Well, I'm a member of Booster Club because even when I was an athlete, my dad was. And so I guess it's maybe a generation thing. My dad was the president back in our day, and it was something I wanted to get involved in when I got moved back here after college. And I started, I guess, my involvement back in the James Cameron days. And then now with Greg being back here, he asked me to serve, and I said yes, and so he owes me now after this many years. But we got people like David McKeag and Craig Roberts and Torrey Humphreys and then Corey Bergen round out our officers. Mm-hmm. And so we get to spread it around where no one's burdened down too much.
What are some of the accomplishments over the years that have been able to kind of enhance the budgets of various programs with some nice little things?
Well, a lot of things, what we try to do as Booster Club is to dismiss that we're football only. A lot of times people think that. A lot of the big ticket items we try to purchase are things for the training department, because all athletes can end up being injured and use it through Tammy Carroll's group. But then if there's something comes up that's out of the ordinary, then we have the opportunity to do that. We participate with the sports banquet by funding that deal at the end of the year. But what we do is whatever Greg sees a need for the athletic department. We're really not a part of the Wildcat card, but we are in a way, because the Wildcat card sales that happen funnel through us, but then that helps the individual sports and kind of the extra things like uniforms even, or golf bags, or things that they might need that saves the school district budget money, that they might otherwise provide for. So with the Wildcat card and then what the Booster Club can raise, we're able to supplement things that otherwise wouldn't be bought.
All right. David, is there kind of a deadline that you guys are looking for to get everybody to make some action about the deadline?
Well, we try to get everything in by July the 10th so that we can get it in the yearbook or in the program, so that people are recognized for their donations. We'll accept money anytime, but if you want to get the recognition for being in the program, it needs to be in by the 10th of July.
What's the address to send donations to? Or
P.O. Box 1594. I sure hope.
Let me see what this thing says here.
Yeah, we need to go with a piece of paper instead of my memory. I know where the box is.
1594.
1594. There you go.
All right. David, I ask you too. Why were you interested in the Booster Club?
Well, I've always been just a huge Sulphur Springs football fan, and the Booster Club seems to be, the ideal spot for me to serve. I was able to play football for Sulphur Springs, and when I came back, it's a passion. Sulphur Springs football is a passion for me, and so when I had an opportunity to serve as Booster Club, I've gotten more involved as my kids and my nieces and nephews were involved in other sports, to see the entire picture of Sulphur Springs athletics and knowing what the Booster Club does for the other sports when they may not have budget money to get new bat bags for the softball team, or a batting cage net or something, and be able to provide that for all the sports. It's just it's been a fun ride for me, and I enjoy it. Enjoy the efforts that we put in, and the satisfaction of seeing our program just get better and better and better.
Now, there's new construction going on all over the place, which is real exciting. I'm sure those are fully budgeted, but there may be some nice little perks or something that the Booster Club could enhance on some of these projects out there.
That's possible. We're kind of on a wait and see how those things go, but there may be some things here and there that we might be able to support financially. We'll just see what ends up being needed at the end of the process. I'm extremely excited, not just for the football stadium, but for the new baseball field, and the complex that's been developed out there by the school is tremendous. It's a boost to our program. It's just really nice to have a lot of things in one spot. When you've got baseball and softball going on in the same place and the fields are right there together, it makes it nice for fans, especially parents who have a child playing baseball and one playing softball. They can kind of hit both of them. So it's an exciting time for Sulphur Springs athletics. You know, with the multi-purpose facility and all the facilities we have now, we have the facilities that are as good as any in the state.
Yeah, there's a lot of colleges don't have what we have.
Stacy, tell us about the meetings on Monday are kind of special.
Well, we've done that over time, and last year was the first year we kind of cut that back some, because we were finding that even though a lot of people would come watch the game on Monday night with the coach and he would go through things, we were getting to where only 4 or 5 people would come because of the great deal that y'all do with doing the playback of games. And the whole community appreciates that, so y'all do a fabulous job. But then it was just another night Greg was having to stay late for maybe 4 or 5 people, and so we're going to probably this year try to do something at the first of the season, maybe at the beginning of district, and then maybe then the first round of the playoffs, just to kind of make it a stress point to come to these certain meetings instead of it being every Monday night. So we're going to put some media out, of that as the season gets ready to roll.
All right, very good. David, we see great fans every time we go to events, a lot of people supporting, and this would be another way that if they're not involved in the Athletic Booster Club, they can get involved and really make a difference for these kids.
Yeah, we love to see people show up for events, and we don't have a problem usually filling the stands for football, but we would love to see people get out and support the soccer teams, the softball teams, the baseball teams, go out to the golf course and watch the golf team play. Just having fans at all the sports is such encouragement to the kids. And for us, and I think you probably know, I'm at most everything that I can make, and I love to see fans out supporting the kids, and it means a lot to the kids.
Anything else we need to cover, Stacy?
Well, this last basketball season, I'll just point out, for the girls and the boys, was the most exciting basketball that's been in Sulphur Springs that I can remember. And the girls are just kind of the powerhouse now, whereas that hadn't been the case. And Coach Chapman's done a great job, and now Coach Zip has got the basketball team rolling. And me and my dad commented, we've never been in that gym before where we couldn't find a seat, and that happened a couple of times. So that's the deal. It's the excitement that comes to the whole town, and what people don't understand that don't live here is this is still kind of Mayberry in a way, where everybody kind of wants to keep up with everybody's kids and come watch and support them. And as David said, his kids have long gone. Mine are recently gone. But people like David want to come just watch kids from their church or people that they know, and that's what Sulphur Springs brings that people don't realize.
Very good.
At the end of the second day of the Edge Conditioning Program Tuesday morning in the multi-purpose building, Wildcats defensive coordinator Tristan Abram asked the athletes if they got better today. He said only they know the answer to that question. Wildcats head football coach and athletic director Greg Owens told the athletes if each of their reps were done with their best effort, they can't help but get better. Then he had them chant the theme for the day, Build My House. Wildcats offensive coordinator Matt Young said numbers seemed to improve on Tuesday. He said a couple of the athletes who could not come Monday showed up Tuesday. And Coach Young also said that it seemed like more middle school students were in attendance Tuesday. He put the overall total Tuesday at around 200, with about 150 older kids and around 50 middle schoolers. Coach Young said the athletes showed great effort and really good attitudes. He said Tuesday was squat day in the weight room with emphasis on power squats. Coach Young said agility drills included some explosive straight line plyometrics. Bungee cords were used. He said some drills attempted to create muscle memory for running with better technique for efficiency. Flexibility was stressed as athletes walked over several hurdles. Explosion was emphasized as athletes had to leap on boxes from a standing start. They also pulled sleds while running. Tuesday ended with gassers. Athletes ran over and back across the field 6 times with short rest in between. Coach Young said the athletes are investing in themselves and are building themselves up based on what effort they want to give.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.